Good morning, class. Here we are again together. It's Thursday, January the 14th. Our month is January. Our day is Thursday. If today is Thursday, what was yesterday? You got it? Yesterday was Wednesday. And what will tomorrow be? Tomorrow will be Friday. And what's our year? 2021. It's going to be a good year. If God is with us, who can be against us? And our season, it's winter. And if you look out the window, it's cloudy and a little bit of rain. So there we are, cloudy and rainy. It might be different at your house. Let's put it all together. Today is Thursday, January the 14th, 2021. There you go. Let's thank the Lord for our new day. We'll talk to Him together. Close your eyes and fold your hands. And you can say your own prayer also while we're talking to Jesus together. Dear Lord, thank you for this new day. It's a wonderful day. Thank you that you've been teaching us so many things about our letters, about shapes, about trains, about seasons, about islands. Thank you that you've given us an interesting world and you will let us discover it. Thank you also that you're teaching us that we can be confident, to be ourselves, not to have to feel like we have to be like anybody else, but to be who you made us to be. And to know that when we're upset or afraid or frustrated, we can talk to you. We can be confident that you are our helper. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Have you been practicing that memory verse? Let's say it together now. Psalm 118, verse 6. The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I will not be afraid. Our story for today is we are more precious than anything. Do you know that Jesus thinks that you are a wonderful piece of art that He created? He thinks you're beautiful. He thinks you're special. And He loves the things that you find interesting, the things that you're good at. And they might be different than the things that your brother or sister is good at, or even your mom and dad. But He loves us each for who we are. He made us each to be different, and He thinks you're very special, you're very precious. So I hope you understand that today as you read that story together at home. We are more precious than anything. Well, what's the letter we've been talking about this week? The letter O, made of two curves coming together, or two C's, or two semicircles, half circles, and we have an O. An uppercase O, and the lowercase o is the same, only smaller. You've had lots of practice so far making the letter O. We always start at the top and make a curve and another curve and join it together. And there's our O. What does our O say? Here's our lowercase o, uppercase O, lowercase o. It says, remember, ah, or on, off, on, off. And our little song that helps us remember, the lights go on, the lights go off, ah, 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 ah. And do you remember that O is a vowel? It's one of those special letters that says its own name and its sound. Sometimes the words that start with O start with ah, a sound for O, like ostrich. And sometimes they start with the name of the letter O, like over. We've been talking about lots of O words this week. Overalls, octopus, otter, ollie, olive, orange. And remember, sometimes when O is with a W or a U, it says ow, like someone just pinched you, like in the word owl. We'll put those O sticks back in our O pocket. You keep looking for O words in your house and out and about wherever you're going. Out is another O word. All right. We've also been talking about word families. Rhyming words that have the same ending and a different beginning. Dr. Seuss helped us. We talked about a lot of rhyming words yesterday when we read Hop on Pop. Well, our word families are also helping us read and make three-letter words. In your package, you'll find a van, because we are talking this week about the An family. Last week you talked about the At family, words that end in at. This week we're talking about the An family, words that end in an. So van is from the An family. What does van start with? The first letter of van is V, and then the end of van is an. And you can see here on this van, A-N. That spells an. Let's see if we can put that together and make a three-letter word. We said it starts with V, and then it has the an family. A-N spells van. V-A-N. V-An. All of the words on this van are from the An family. They all have the letter A-N in them, but they start with different letters. So they rhyme, but they're from the same word family, the An family. So you see if you can make 6 different words that are from the An family on your van. I also have another assignment for you that has to do with word families. These are called word family sliders. And for each new word family, we're going to get a new word family slider. This one, you're getting 2 this week, the At family and the An family. This is the At card. We talked about this family last week. And there's a strip of paper that has a whole bunch of different letters on it. Each one of these letters can go in front of the little word at and turn this little 2-letter word into a 3-letter word. So we're going to cut out the strip on the big black lines so it will fit, and we're going to cut with the help of a grown-up 2 slits in our at card. So it's called a word family slider because we're going to slide this strip of letters in front of the little word at. So if we take this strip up to the very top, we have B-A-T, and that spells bat. But if we slide this down further, we get C-A-T. And what does that spell? Let's figure that out together. C-A-T. Here's the word family at, and here's the letter at the beginning, C, K, at, cat. So you can do that with all of the letters on this letter strip and make all kinds of different 3-letter words with your word slider. Bat, cat, and I'm going to let you figure out the rest of them. We also have an and family slider and a strip for that as well. You'll find both of those cards and strips in your package, and you can have fun putting those together and making all kinds of new words from the at family and the and family. Have fun with that. That rhymes with at. Okay, enough of that. We're going to move on to our math now. We've been talking about 3D shapes so far this week, and today we're going to talk in particular again about 2 of those 3D shapes. What's this one? Yes, it's got circles on the end. It's tall, it's fat, and wide. We can hold on to it. It's long if we put it this way, so it has 3 dimensions. Long, tall, and wide. Circles on the ends. If you guessed cylinder, you're right. It looks like a can, doesn't it? Like a can of peas, a can of orange juice, a can of pop. So a can is a cylinder. That's what this 3D shape is, with circles on the end. The other 3D shape we're going to talk about today also has a circle on one end of it, but a point on the other end. It can be a hat, or it could be on the bottom of an ice cream cone. You got it. It's a cone. A cone. It is tall, wide, and long. It's a 3-dimensional shape that looks kind of like a triangle, but it also has a circle on the end of it. It's called a cone. So you have 2 different math pages. The first page says, circle the things that are shaped like cylinders. So you have some different shapes on this page. Not all of them are cylinders. You have to circle the ones that are shaped like cylinders. The ones that have a circle on the top and a circle on the bottom and are tall, those are cylinders. I know that you're going to do a good job on that page. Okay. And the next page is where you're going to work on the cones. You're going to do the same thing, but this time you're going to circle only the shapes that are cones. So I know that you can figure that out. And keep looking for 3D shapes wherever you are. Today, in particular, see if you can find cones or cylinders inside your house or outside your house. Another thing that we've been talking about this week and yesterday when we talked about our book of the life on the island was seasons. And I said that we had changed our tree on our bulletin board in our classroom into our winter tree. So I thought I would sit in front of it today so that you could be reminded of what it looks like. See our winter tree? It's pretty bare. It doesn't have any leaves on it, but you can see the snow falling down from the sky. There's a snowman, some people skiing, having fun outside. There's even a deer here and a little mouse hiding under the tree with lots of snow on the ground. So we have tried to make our classroom look a little bit like winter on the inside with our bulletin board, and we have snowflakes on our window. And I'm sure if you look out your window, you see lots of snow as well. So the season that we're in, of course, is winter. And the season when we came back to school was, what was it? Yes, fall. Well, before we have our story time today, you've been working hard and I'd like you to take a little break. So please do whatever you need to have a little break. And when we come back, we'll do some stretching together and then sit down in a cozy spot and have our story. In that story, we're going to talk a little bit more about the seasons. We'll be right back. Okay, I hope you had a little break and you're ready to enjoy the story. But first, let's stretch up to the sky. Let's do some finger exercises, arm exercises. Can you hop on one foot? And the other foot. And take a deep breath in. And let it out slowly. Sit down in a comfy spot and relax. The reason for the seasons. If we look around the border or the outside of this book, we see a different season on each side. On this side we see leaves falling, that's fall or autumn. On the bottom we see snow and some evergreen trees. On this side we see some tulips. So what season would that be? Spring. And on the top we see some sand dunes and a sailboat. So that's summer, of course. And there's those seasons on the back of the book as well. Yesterday, our book about the island life was written by Gail Gibbons. And the same author has written this book, The Reason for the Seasons, Gail Gibbons. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. These are the 4 seasons of the year. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Can you say them with me? Spring, summer, autumn, or fall, and winter. The sun warms the surface of the earth, the planet that we live on. What's our planet? Yes, the earth. The tilt of earth, when it's facing the sun, changes throughout the year. This is what makes the different seasons. So, different parts of the earth are facing the sun during different times of the year. When Earth is facing closest to the sun, it's our warm season of summer. When Earth is facing farthest away from the sun, it's our cold season of winter. So here is the whole world, or our globe, and we know that Earth is this whole planet that has a whole bunch of different continents on it. And we know our continent is North America. Our country is Canada. But it is moving very slowly. And when North America is facing right in front of the sun, it's the warmest season, and we have summer. So you can see the sun and you can see Earth. Each season lasts about 3 months. 4 seasons make a year. So let's say that winter is December, January, February. That's 3 months, right? Let's say spring is March, April, May. Let's say summer is June, July, August, and fall is September, October, and November. So that's right, each season lasts about 3 months, and there's 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall in 1 year. That's how long it takes for Earth to move or make 1 trip around the sun. So we said The Earth is moving around the sun, and there's the path. The path is called an orbit. It's going around the sun, but it goes slowly. It takes one whole year to get all the way around the sun. And depending on where we are in this orbit, how close we are to the sun, is what season we have. As Earth circles the sun, different parts of the Earth are closer to the sun than others. This affects the amount of light and heat that they get. Earth is tipped a little bit as it turns. It makes one full rotation every 24 hours. So not only is it going around the sun, it's also turning this way. And that's when it gets all the way, that's one day. When the North Pole is tipped towards the sun and the South Pole is tipped away, it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere, or the top of the globe, and winter in the Southern Hemisphere. 6 months later, when Earth has traveled to the other side of the sun and the North Pole is tipped away, it is winter in the Northern Hemisphere and summer in the Southern Hemisphere. The seasons of one hemisphere are always opposite of those of the other hemisphere. So hemisphere means the north of the globe or the south of the globe. They have opposite weather from the north to the south, depending on which way they've turned and where they are in relation to the sun. You might be able to watch a video with your mom or dad that explains this a little bit more to you. We don't have a long time to talk about this right now, but we're just understanding a little bit about what makes the different seasons. Spring. In the Northern Hemisphere, or the top of the globe, spring begins about March 21. This is the season when more sunshine causes cooler air to be replaced by warmer air. In the Southern Hemisphere, autumn is beginning. So, at the top of the globe, right here, north, when it's starting to be spring, down here at the bottom of the globe, it is fall. Because in the Northern Hemisphere, at that point, it's closer to the sun than the Southern Hemisphere. So we're always opposite to a different part of the globe. The first day of spring is called the Spring Equinox. When spring begins in the Northern Hemisphere, Earth has moved along its path so that the sun is opposite the equator. We did talk about that. The equator is in the middle of the globe, right? On this day, daylight and darkness are the same length of time over the entire Earth. People used to celebrate the first day of spring by having a special dance and dressing up, because it was the beginning of the growing season. And there they are celebrating the beginning of spring. Spring is the season when some birds that have been away for the winter come back again. This is called migration. So there's winter animals that stay here, and they have special parts of their body like fur and wide hooves or long ears that keep them warmer during the winter. But there's some animals that can stay warm, and they go away to a warmer climate somewhere south. And when they come back again, that's called migration. Some whales migrate, some birds migrate, some animals don't go away and they don't come out in the snow, but they sleep all winter long and wake up in the spring really hungry, looking for food. And that is called hibernation. So some birds migrate, go somewhere warmer. Some birds hibernate, go to sleep for the winter. And some animals have warmer, thicker fur that can keep them warm, and they go out in the winter. Spring winds are good for kite flying. Have you ever gone out in the spring when it was windy and flown a kite? It is the season when everything seems to come alive again. The grass is getting greener, the snow has gone, children are running around with sweaters instead of coats. Flowers are starting to bloom like daffodils and tulips, and the farmers are out in the fields planting. It's the beginning of the growing season. Slowly the days are becoming longer because that part of Earth, the northern hemisphere, is tilted closer to the sun. We see the sun higher in the sky, and we're getting more sunlight because the sunlight reaches the ground for longer periods of time. Right now, we're getting a lot of cloudy days and not a whole lot of sun because we're further away. The way we're turned, we're further away from the sun. But in springtime, we're moving closer to the sun. We're getting more sun and longer, warmer days. Well, after spring comes summer. And in summer, that begins about June 21st. We said spring begins about March 21st. Summer begins around June 21st. And the northern part of the globe, right here at the top, is even closer to the sun. And so the days are getting even warmer. It's the warmest season in the year. And in the southern hemisphere at the bottom, that's when their winter is starting. Remember, when our spring starts, it's fall in the southern hemisphere, or at the bottom of the globe. And when it's summer, where we are, in the north, then it is winter in the southern hemisphere. It's always opposite from the north to the south. Well, in the summer, the first day of summer is called the summer solstice. The first day of spring was the spring solstice. Summer solstice is the longest day of the whole year. Children are outside playing. You can see that the northern hemisphere is closer to the sun. And on this day, we see the midday sun at its highest point in the sky. The hottest days of summer take place after the summer solstice because Earth keeps absorbing more and more heat. When it gets a little warmer, that allows it to absorb more heat and more heat. Flowers and plants grow under the warm sun. Many animals are busy raising their little babies that were born in the springtime. And there's a picture of children having fun outside, of flowers growing, and of animal families. In the summertime, people have fun outdoors. They can go to a beach, swim in a lake, or read under the shade of a big tree full of large green leaves. So we see some people at the lake, at the beach, under a tree. Do you like summertime? Which is your favorite season? Mine is summer. During summer, daylight is long. We can play outside longer in the evening on a summer day than we can on a winter day. We see the sun high in the sky. It might still be daylight at bedtime when we go to bed. Is it hard to go to sleep sometimes in the summertime because it's still light outside? The nights are shorter. So there's a nice sunny day, and there is a little boy going to sleep, and his mom is closing the curtains so it can be darker in his bedroom. And what's the next season after summer? Yes, fall or autumn. You can see the children outside catching the brightly colored leaves. Autumn begins about September 21 in the northern hemisphere, or the top part of the globe where we are. So spring starts on March 21, summer starts on June 21, and fall, or autumn, starts on September 21. It is a season when the air starts to get a little bit cooler. The leaves of some trees turn to beautiful colors and fall to the ground, which is why some people call this season fall. That makes sense, doesn't it? Some people call autumn fall because the leaves are falling. In the southern hemisphere, at the bottom of the globe, what's the opposite of fall? Yes, spring. So when we have fall, at the bottom of the globe, or the southern hemisphere, they have spring. The first day of autumn is called the what? The first day of spring is the spring equinox. The first day of summer is the summer equinox. The first day of fall, or autumn, is the autumn equinox. When autumn begins in the northern hemisphere, or the top of the globe, Earth has moved along its path so that the sun is directly opposite the equator. On this day, daylight and darkness are about the same length of time. Since ancient times, some people have celebrated this time of year because of the autumn harvest. So, people used to celebrate the first day of spring and dress up and dance around the maypole because it was the beginning of harvest time. And people, since the ancient times, have also celebrated the first day of fall because they get to bring the crops in that they planted in the spring, and there's lots of food that's harvested. Those are both reasons to be thankful and to thank God for the beautiful nature that wakes up when it's the season of spring, for the nice warm weather in the summertime, for the food that's harvested in the fall, and for the beautiful snow around us in wintertime. There's always something to thank God for, and we can thank Him for each beautiful season. It makes life so interesting. Some birds migrate. We said that means they go to warmer climates during the winter. Animals prepare themselves for the long, cold season to come. In the fall, the squirrels and chipmunks that are going to stay around here, that don't go south, are gathering nuts and acorns and berries that they can dig up in the cold winter days when they can't eat any food around them. Children go back to school in September. Summer break is over. And it's harvest season. Farmers gather their crops. There are country fairs too. We talked about pumpkins in the fall, didn't we? You can see that someone has harvested a great big huge pumpkin. Some people are going to the fall fair. And there's lots of vegetables in this basket here. There's corn, there's carrots, there's apples, there's squash. The air becomes cooler because the northern hemisphere is tilting farther away from the sun. The days get shorter and the nights become longer. So on the first day of fall, daytime and nighttime are about the same length. But by the end of fall, the daytime, when it's light, is shorter, and the nighttime, when it's dark, is longer because the earth is tilting further away from the sun. And after fall, we get what? Wintertime. And this is when the northern hemisphere is tilted the farthest away from the sun. So it's colder. We don't get as much warmth from the sun when we're tilted further away. And that begins, you guessed it, on December 21. Spring starts on March 21. Summer starts on June 21. Fall starts on September 21. And winter starts on December 21. This is the time of year when the northern hemisphere, or the top of the globe, we're in North America, so we're closer to the top, is tilted farthest away from the sun. So we get colder days. It's the coldest season of the year because we're farthest away from the sun. In the southern hemisphere, what do you think they're getting when they're tilted closer to the sun? Yeah, they're getting summer, the opposite of us. There's a picture of the sun and the earth tilted and going around the sun. Remember, it takes one whole year to go around the whole sun, but it takes one day for it to tilt from the top to the bottom, from the Earth to tilt from the top to the bottom. But to go around the sun, it takes 1 year. To tilt from the top to the bottom, it takes 1 day. The first day of winter is the shortest day of the whole year. That means on the very first day of winter, December 21st, we get the least amount of sunshine. This is called the winter solstice on December 21st. On this day, we see the midday sun at its lowest point in the sky. So the sun is lower in the sky. You can see the picture there, and the children are outside having fun, and the sun is lower in the sky. The coldest days of the winter come after the first day of winter, or the coldest days of winter come after the winter solstice, because Earth keeps losing the heat it gained in the summer. Leaves are gone from most of the trees. There aren't as many birds around. Some have gone south. There's a few birds that stay through the winter. Some animals sleep all winter, and we know that's called hibernation. And it is very cold. So you can see there's no more leaves on the tree. There aren't very many birds flying around, although here's one, a cardinal. He can stay warm enough in the winter so he doesn't have to go south. There's some birds, squirrels and chipmunks, sleeping through the winter. That's hibernating. And the children are inside staying warm because it's evening and they're getting ready to be inside for the night. It might be time for ice skating, skiing, or making snowmen. We can still have lots of fun when it's daytime in the winter, can't we? Ice skating, skiing, making snowmen. People wear winter coats, jackets, mitts, and hats to stay warm. But sometimes it's nice to stay indoors and read a good book. And there's children having fun outside skating, making a snowman. And there's a boy having fun inside reading a book. They're all wonderful winter activities. During winter, daylight is short and nights are long. We see that the sun is low in the sky. Sometimes it's dark even before supper time. See, they're eating supper and it's dark in their window. Areas near the equator, or the middle of the globe, have little temperature change during the year because they don't tilt as much away from the sun. So the places that are closer to the middle of the globe stay warmer all year long. They do have seasons, but it doesn't get as cold. The seasons are marked by rainy or dry periods rather than cold and hot. In their winter, they would get more rain. 2 rainy seasons and 2 dry seasons each year. So the places that are close to the equator, they don't get snow and cold, but they get 2 rainy seasons and 2 dry seasons. Each day at the equator, daylight and darkness are almost equal. So they get days and nights that are almost the same length. At the North Pole, the very top of the globe, and the very bottom of the globe, it's always cold. The North Pole and the South Pole. Just 1 second, I'm going to go get our globe. So there's the North Pole, where it's always cold at the top. The South Pole, where it's always cold at the bottom. The equator, where it's usually warm and they have 2 rainy seasons and 2 dry seasons. And here's North America, we're closer to the top. So we get some winter and fall when we are furthest away from the sun. And we get spring and summer when we're closer to the sun. The equator in the middle, the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, it's always cold. And the places that are closer to the equator are always warmer. They don't get winter where it snows. When the North Pole or South Pole is tilted far away from the sun, it is winter. So when the North Pole is tilted far away from the sun, it's winter. During winter in the North Pole, the sun never shines. So it seems like it's night all the time. It's dark all the time in winter there in the North Pole. When the North Pole is closer to the sun, it's summer all the time. And they get daylight almost all through the night, when we would call it night. They don't have day when they play and night when they sleep. It's where it's light out, where it's dark. It's light almost all day and all night. How would you like that? That would be really hard to get enough sleep if it was light all through the night. So in summertime, they get days that are light almost all 24 hours. And in wintertime, I certainly wouldn't like that. Their days are almost all dark. Because they're at the top, they're further away from the sun in wintertime and closer to the sun in summertime. Spring and summer, autumn and winter. Year after year, the seasons repeat themselves. Hasn't God made a wonderful world for us? We can be confident that each year, year after year, we're going to have spring, summer, winter, and fall. And that makes our world so much more interesting, because we can have different fun activities in each different season. What do you like doing in the summertime? Swimming? Wearing your shorts and t-shirts, running around, riding your bikes? What do you like doing in the fall? Jumping in leaves, having a campfire? And winter? Reading a good book, skating, swimming? So many different fun activities, so many different interesting animals in the different seasons, different nature in the different seasons, and it all makes our world more interesting. God is a wonderful creator, and He's made a very interesting world for us to discover and enjoy. Earth and its many relationships to the sun are the reasons for the season. So remember, we have different seasons depending on how close we are to the sun. And how long does it take for us to get all the way around the sun? 1 year. What is that path called, going around when the Earth goes around the sun? It's called the orbit. And how long does it take the Earth to tilt from top to bottom? 1 day. Yes. The Earth and the world is such a wonderful, interesting thing, and there's always going to be more to learn. So I hope that you've had some fun learning about the seasons, the Earth, and the sun today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and evening. And tomorrow's the last day of the week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow on Friday. Bye for now.